Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. A very warm welcome to this March 26th exam support session for the subject SBR. In fact, this is now the last session. And the particular purpose of this session is to support for your exam day. SBR exam day support session. Students, whatever you have started, now it's time to conclude. First of all, I must say the soft matter here, don't take a stress. The remaining days that you know very well, today is a Monday, that's 3rd of March, and your exam day will be the coming Thursday. So just relax. Control your emotions, control your mind. Don't take a stress. Inshallah, you will get success. You must be very much positive. So this is the important thing. If you really wanted to win the match, so stay calm and be positive. Don't take stress. That's important. I am sharing with some important exam day support to all of you and also discuss what you should do for the next 2 days. Believe me, whatever you have done, that's very good. That's excellent. You people are superb. You people are really superb. You people have watched the videos, attempted the exam questions, attempted the mock, and some of the efforts, obviously, that's some of the efforts also some of the efforts also done by my team, including my lectures and mock exams accordingly. So now it's time to conclude now. So if you are confusing that's what is going on, or if you are stressed too much, or you are confused, so think about that. Why you started the journey of the ACCA and the SBR. So whatever the objective behind that, if you recall that matter, automatically that will support you to motivate for that particular purpose of the exam. And I must say here once again, just get rid the fear now. Just don't take the stress, because if you stress, you will lose. If you don't stress and keep moving, you will be the part of the game. You will be able to get success. So once again, don't take stress, control your emotions. I know that the syllabus is very much extensive, but don't worry about that. Here, the last exam day tips that I will share with you. Now let's start the session. Ladies and gentlemen, the very important point. Whenever you are going to attempt your ACCA exam for the SBR, so before the exam, before starting the exam, something you need to bear in your mind. These points. Before starting the exam, in fact, before the exam, develop your mindset. The day, for example, Thursday will start at the morning time. So you have a mindset that, okay, I'm going to attempt my SBR exam. So what should be the broader approach that's must be in your mind about the SBR? The broader approach. So number one, your mindset. If you're going to attempt your SBR exam, the first very important thing is that your aim for that particular exam, whenever you are going towards the examination hall, so you have to develop the mindset that you will go for the examination to attempt appropriate exam, not the accurate exam. Examiner, with the strategic professional exam, examiner never expect that you have to perform accurate. You have to perform appropriate exam. Because the strategic professional level exam, it's all about the broader level exam, means the strategic level. Assume, for example, there is a very complex issue that's faced by the company, and you are a board member. Do remember that your participation as a board member. So the complex issue concluded by the consensus by the different board members. For example, in the boardroom, there are 5 board members. Final decision will be taken based on the advice, based on your suggestions. So, for example, any one of the complex issue, that's, for example, you face that particular complex issue. Any case that you are reading the exhibit, assume that this is the case and you are a board member. So what examiner expect from you? Examiner expect from you that you just give your opinion, you just give your advice about that particular issue. So the final decision will be based on your advice and judgment. There are 5 brains that give different judgments. Board member 1, board number 2, board number 3, 4, 5. It's not necessary that everyone gives the same recommendation, same advice, same judgments. The judgments may be different, the advice may be different. So examiner never expect that you have to attempt the accurate means the final decision. No, examiner expect that what is your opinion? The opinion may be changed with respect to other member. So important point is that yes, you have to attempt the exam in a manner to give advice, and that point, it's not about the expectation accurate, it's about appropriate. But do remember that, okay, my exam is about appropriate, but with a structured way, because the board member will give advice in a structured way, in a disciplined manner. Means, for example, any issue you are facing here, and this is the issue, for example, the ACCA pre-mock matter, for example, the financial asset. This is the point of the financial asset. So what is the discipline? What is the structure to give advice? Number 1, the recommended way to give advice that you have to give advice based on the knowledge. For example, you will give the answer, you'll give your opinion that based on this scenario, the principle is this. For example, the IFRS says that, or the ethics question, the ethics principle says that. And second one, with our scenario, Halliwell, the issue will be resolved in this manner. So number 1, give the appropriate answer, don't take stress. And whatever the advice you are giving, whatever the explanation you are making, based on the knowledge and the application. This is called the structure way. This is called the structure way. That's the point. So first of all, you have to develop the mindset that you are not going to attempt accurate exam. You are going for the working for appropriate. So don't mess with every tiny or every nitty-gritties of the matter. Think about in a broader manner and do attempt that. Number 2, your answer must be very much relevant. Relevant means according to the requirement of the examination. Whatever the examiner required, you have to answer. That's all, nothing else. I have shared you multiple smart answers where you people become able to know that model answer is not exactly the requirement, or model answer is not the exactly the examiner expectation. The examiner expectation is that you have to understand the requirement, and according to the marking scheme, you have to draft your answer. So first of all, relax. Your exam, it's not about accurate. Your exam, it's not about the model answer. Your exam, it's about 100% appropriate. Your exam, it's about the relevance according to the requirement. Number two, never forget the own figure rule. A own figure rule is a golden rule. If you use the own figure rule, you become able to attempt 100% appropriate exam. You must be very much committed that you have to attempt 100% appropriate exam. Do put your best effort to do this. What is the meaning of own figure rule? You people know very well. I'm going to repeat here. For example, if there is a question requirement of the 7 marks, and there are 3 steps that you need to attempt. Step 1, 2, 3. You have perfectly done the step number 1, very much confident. And step number 1, 2, 3 all are interconnected. For example, step number 1, you have done, you are confident. But step number 2, that's something hard, or you are not able to recall. What you should do? Step number 2 is connect with the step number 3. Don't worry. Relax. Do your best for step number 2. Irrespectively, the answer become right or wrong. Don't mess with step number 2. Do your best. Do your best. If the step number 2, whatever you have done, if it's become wrong, don't worry. The examiner will consider the wrong figure as the assumed figure. And check the step number 3. Check the step number 3. If your step number 3 structure is right, based on a step 2 wrong answer, examiner will give you full marks for step number 3. Examiner will deduct only limited mark for step number 2. Maybe examiner will give you for step number 2 half of the mark. Depend on your depend on that. That's how you attempted the step number 2. But the point is that own figure rule is a golden rule. So if I connect with point number 1 and 2, so once again, if you go for examination, 100% appropriate exam. So get rid this fear that the things must be accurate. Number 1, you have to attempt the questions according to the requirement based on the smart answers. And if something going to wrong, you have to bear in mind that, okay, there is own figure rule. I must be relaxed and keep moving accordingly. Don't stop and keep moving. So number 1, before going starting the paper, in fact, whenever you are going to examination hall, these points, these approach in your mind. Before starting the exam, you have to develop the mindset of these points. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Before the exam, you know very well. Sorry. Yes. Question number 1, section A, having 2 questions. Question number 1, 30 marks. So you know very well that is 54 minutes you have to attempt this question. 36 minutes for 20 marks question. 45 minutes each for 25 marks section B type question. You know very well before the exam. You must have to develop the mindset that you will be very much stick with that particular time, with that particular allocated time. And you people have done this activity according to the mock. It doesn't matter how much part of the mock you have done. The point is that you have already practiced for that. So you have to be very much strict about this allocation. especially for question number 1, because examiner report says that students invest too much time for question number 1. I will guide you later part of the session what is the right strategy to attempt question number 1 and become able to complete the question within 54 minutes. But you must be very much committed that you have to attempt the question with this time frame. Number 4, do remember that your 3 hours exam must be splitted in this way. 20% time you need to invest for planning. Broadly, whenever you are attempting any part of the question, any exhibit of the question, number 1, read that requirement very carefully. Read the context very carefully. Read context very carefully. Read the requirement to identify the expectation of the exam. Very careful. Before start, you have to invest some time for brainstorming. Before start, brainstorm some points. And during the brainstorm, you have to structure your answer. Okay, brainstorm means these are the raw points and raw points of the requirement, and I have to attempt to structure this answer. If you plan your question, automatically your output become qualitative. You will get more confidence. Automatically time will control. Time management will control. That's a point. So before starting the exam, 4 points that you have to bear in your mind. That's a broader approach you have to develop in your mind. Number 1, 100 you are going to attempt not the accurate but the appropriate exam according to the examiner requirement. Never forget about the own figure rule. Mindset, question number 1, I have to attempt within 54 minutes or 55 minutes. Question number 2, 36 minutes. Question number 3 and 4, 45 minutes each. Must be very much committed for this time allocation. Always, whenever going to start any question, I will invest 20% of the time. That's a point. Number 2. Now, the point is that whenever you are going to attempt the exam, listen carefully. Just a minute. Yes. Whenever you are going to attempt the exam, there are some questions students always ask. What are the sequence of questions to attempt? Number 1, what is the sequence of attempting the question? There is no fixed rule. It's your choice. Which question you will start, which question you need to start at what sequence. But I must say one thing. Examiner report highlighted that students spend too much time with the question number 1. I recommend to the students, strongly advise that question number 1 never be the last part of the question, last part of the exam. What I personally suggest that if you are very confident with the group accounts question number 1 type questions, you have to attack with question number 1. You just open question number 1. Avoid the reading of the rest of the questions. Avoid it. In fact, I must say that you don't need to read complete paper because all of the paper you need to attempt. Either you start with the question number 2, question number 3, question number 4. You don't need to start the entire paper. You just pick one question and start it. What my suggestion is that if you are confident with the group accounts, start with question number 1 and try to attempt within 54 minutes. If you attempt the question number 1 within 54 minutes, your confidence will boost and that will reflect to the entire paper. You can also do that. If you're very confident with the SBR and ethics, you can start with the first question with SBR and ethics, 20 marks question within 36 minutes, and the confidence will boost and then move towards a question number 1. But I will not suggest to attempt question number 1 as a last question. In fact, either the first question or maximum the second question. You can start any one question of the 25 marks question. It's your choice. But what I personally think that every question you need to attempt. No? So, okay, if you're confident with a group account, start with the group account. Confident with the ethics, start with the ethics. But stick with the time management. That's the recommended approach. Now, the very important point. There are a lot of questions from the students. That's it, how become master for the time management, especially for 30 marks question. That's a group accounts. The group accounts 30 marks question, where the allocated time is 54 minutes. Some key rules I'm sharing with you. Number 1, the very important point. You have to attempt your question with simultaneous approach. Simultaneous approach means, listen carefully. For example, this is what the pre-mock, and one of the, for example, any of the students, it's going to attempt this particular question. The requirement is that using exhibit 1, 2, 3, as well as the previous answer, adjust the pre-populated sheet to correct the extract of the drafted consolidated P&L for the 31st December exam. So, for example, you say that all exhibit need to attempt and adjust with the pre-populated sheet. For example, A, exhibit 1, explain with calculation how correct the treatment of investment in quarter and consolidated financial statement for the year 31st December X7. Your answer should include calculation of any goodwill or gain on bargain purchase arise on the acquisition. 11 marks. Now, you have identified that A exhibit is something about goodwill or negative goodwill, and also need to adjust with the pre-populated. So I'm saying that you have to perform as a simultaneous approach. Simultaneous approach means you have to start this part of the question, this part. You have to read it carefully. Number 1, you have identified that, okay, some adjustment like this, goodwill, contingent consideration, lot of things. And number 1, you are going to start the question. Number 1, brainstorm. Then you start the working. You can start the working with first the calculation. For example, you have brainstorm these points. The contingent consideration, the rights of the asset, contingent liability, bargain purchase option, and then you are going to start working with this. For example, you have to start with the working of the goodwill, this goodwill. And here the bargain purchase option. If you completed your calculation here, I must say simultaneous approach, because spreadsheet you are using for calculation. for part A. So you have to perform part A and C simultaneously. Whatever the working you have done here, now this is a consolidated P&L part. You have to mention the name, one column, that is bargain purchase option, and make the adjustment simultaneously. Here mention the profit for the year, and here examiner mentioned that that's not included in the P&L, not reflected. So you have to adjust. Negative, here the answer is negative goodwill or gain on bargain purchase option. Based on this, the profit will increase. The profit will increase. This will affect to the profit attributable to the parent, also affect to the total comprehensive income that is belongs to the parent. And your calculation is done. Bargain purchase option is done. Pre-population adjustment is done. And then you start drafting. You have to draft the contingent consideration based on the plan. Based on the plan you made. The film rights, contingent liability, bargain purchase option, all these things. Then you have covered the first part. Then go for the exhibit 2. Same thing. Plan your answer. For any calculation, do it with the spreadsheet. Adjust the pre-populated sheet and then work out for the theory. If you do that, if you develop the answer in that manner, your time will be saved because you are simultaneously attempt the exhibits for the requirement A and B 11 plus 6 and also with the 13 marks of the pre-populated. Your time will be saved. For example, if any of the students says that first I will attempt A, then B, then adjust with the pre-populated, that student will take more time to complete this question. But the student read the requirement carefully and attempt the requirements with the adjustment of the pre-populated sheet in a simultaneous approach, that the student will do that question within that time frame. That time will become managed accordingly. Can you please apply me? Is this clear? The term simultaneous approach. Can you please apply me? Number 2, do remember that. The examiner requirement, read the requirement very carefully. The examiner requirement adjust the pre-populated sheet to correct the extract of the statement of P&L. Only adjust the pre-populated sheet. Do remember that there is no requirement. There is no requirement of the total. If you invest, you don't need to make this total. Don't make this column. Here I have mentioned with the September-December 25 exam, 0 marks. You don't need to make this column during exam. Not in balance sheet, not in cash flow, not in P&L. No need. Just to make adjustment. There is no marks attached with the total, this total adjusted column. Either to balance sheet, cash flow, statement of P&L. Avoid this. Majority of the student waste the time if make the column and incorporate the adjusted figures. 0 marks, 0 mark. You don't need it. So that's I have already mentioned here. No marks for final total. No need. Rest. Some of the adjustments are tricky, some of the adjustments are simple. Control your emotions. If you feel that some of the adjustment is tricky, It's hard. You feel hard. Just relax. Just invest your time in a manner that's relevant. Do your best and move on forward. Because students, the point is that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 adjustments, 6 adjustments. If, for example, exchange difference, if you feel hard, if you feel that it's difficult, so just do your best. If it's become wrong, the examiner will only deduct this particular mark. Don't mess with that particular hard aspect of the question. If you mess with this, you will lose the other easy marks. So the exam, it's not only about the technical aspects. The exam is also about your brain game. So smartly handle the exam. It's not only about the hard work, it's also about the smart work. A lot of students become fail, not able to pass exam because of the reason not able to manage the time, not able to manage the smart answers. I've made and I've shared multiple answers with you. So you people must have to aware about what is the smart way to handle the question. That's the point. Rest 2 or 3 days. Practice, hands-on practice on a daily basis. At least one question number one, you have to attempt with these rules. Because, for example, today is Tuesday. Sorry, today is Monday. So one question you need to attempt today, one question Tuesday, one question Wednesday, and you at the day of Thursday, you people are very much used to, based on your past 3 days. Okay, I'm very much used to attempt the question. One question, balance sheet, one question, P&L, one question, cash flow. So whenever you sit with the examination all, your brain says that I am very much familiar to attempt question number one within 54 minutes. I'm very much familiar to attempt question number one, use the simultaneous approach. Your brain will say that. Your brain will say that there are no marks for the final total. There are no marks for the, sorry. Your brain will say that OFR rule is here. Don't take stress. So if you do practice in this way, by coming Thursday, your brain will be very much familiar about how to handle the time management. Is this clear? So you would do that, huh? Don't just practice any question, but you do in this manner. Number two, the SBR and ethics. By the way, you know very well how to handle the question of the SBR ethics. I am revising that matter. First, need to attempt. Sometime examiner asks the entire question as ethics. Entire question. Sometimes examiner asks one part is accounting, one part of the ethics. Number one, plan your answer very carefully. The first thing is that. Plan your answer very carefully. Number one. Number two, this is what the sequence of the answer. No? First of all, compose your mind about the ethics and identify the problem. That's the identify the problem. No? That's the point. First of all, identify the problem. First, identify the problem. It's not only about the ethics. It's about the accounting. It's about the ethics, all these aspects. So number one, identify the problem. What is the actual problem? And do remember, identify the problem. There are two things. Number one, it's a summary of the case. It's a summary of the case. What the issue here? And number two, if you summarize the case here, automatically your mind becomes composed. Okay, that is the case about. And if your mind become composed, you summarize the things. First of all, you become able to get 2 to 3 marks. And further, if the mind become composed, that will support you to answer for the ethics. Identify the case, the problem, then specify the ethical problem. That is principles and threats. Examiner not always required some action points. If action points or resolution required, then you have to perform the things. Otherwise, no. And do remember that ethics, technically ethics ethics question only have 18 marks. 2 marks, it's about professional marks. So actually you need to attempt the 18 marks. If you do the question in a structured way, like we discussed with the ethics part of the scenarios, you will not be able only the 18 marks, but also the 20 marks. So you need to invest your time for 18 marks and get 20 marks. So 2 marks is bonus here. That's the point. Rest of the part, that's question number 3 and 4. Question number 3 and 4, it's case-based, application of the accounting standard, and obviously one of the question is about investor perspective. And investor perspective also have 2 extra marks for the professional marks. 2 extra marks for the professional marks. For section B type question, I must say that you must be very much relaxed, because multiple students ask me, that's a question number 1, question number 2 of the section A. We are confident, but whenever we enter with a question number 3 and 4, we are getting problem. No, there is a solution. Actually, students are very mess about that, how to handle these questions in a complex matter. No way. Number 1, the first rule, you are attempting the exam to give advice and appropriate solution. Whenever you are attempting the question in a way, what should be the accurate answer? The things will mess. No, you will not, examiner will not expect you to give the accurate answer. Give your advice, but yes, the discipline is that whatever you will write, whatever you will draft, that is based on knowledge and application. That is based on knowledge and application. You can manage the time if you attempt the question according to the exhibit. Sir, what is the meaning of according to exhibit? Very simple. For example, here you are going to start the question. Read the requirement. Number 1, using exhibit 1, start. Exhibit 1, there are 2 things. Share option, defer tax, and application of the conceptual framework. So open the exhibit and do the requirement, complete the requirement 1. If any of the student trying to attempt, read the complete question, then I will start the question. No, don't do this. Read the requirement exhibit 1 and perform only with the exhibit 1. The time will be saved. Then, and the rule is very simple. The rule is what? About that. Number 1, 20% time you need to invest for planning. Sometimes the question is very straightforward. Share-based payment and the deferred tax application, that's the base on my lectures. It's a very simple. You have to start the thing accordingly. 20% time invest for the planning and then attempting the question. Then go for the other requirement. Exhibit 2. Start with the exhibit 2. That's simple. So if you attempt the question according to the exhibits, you will be able to complete the question on time. Yes, one of the question obviously examiner will examine. One of the question the examiner will examine with the investor perspective. So whatever I have already guided you about the investor need, investor perspective, you have to attempt the answer accordingly. And I've made the solution accordingly. So this is what you need to follow the instructions during the exam day. About the exam day, that's all over from my side. I must say here, students, whatever you have started, whatever the objective behind you start, think about it. Now it's time to conclude. So thank you very much about that. That is all about the exam day aspects, exam day support. Now, if you wanted to ask any of the question, you can ask me. By the way, I've shared all the material with you. We have already done that. You don't need to take any stress. If you wanted to ask any question, you can ask me. I hope that this particular advice is whatever I have shared with you. It's very useful for you, and do attempt the question with this particular advices, whatever I've shared with you. By the way, during the session, I've shared multiple points, same like this, but this is a session to compose all the points in one way. I really appreciate the student have attempted the mock and submitted to us. That's really appreciate. Some of the mocks are still in process to check. Yeah. Bilal, you asked that revision of all mocks and the questions would be sufficient. In KCCA published only one mock, no? We have given you 3 mocks. That's more than enough. There's a question, sir. During the mock exam, I feel like I don't remember anything. No. It doesn't matter that. It's fear is getting heavy. How to deal with this? Kindly guide. No, just relax. Actually, whenever you take stress about that, that's whatever you are. For example, if there's a case, you have read that case and you are blank that. You are totally blank. I strongly suggest leave that exhibit and move with the second exhibit. And try to attempt first, second exhibit, complete that question, gain confidence, and get back to that particular exhibit where you filled the blank, no? And you have to attempt that question. And even though you are blank, even though you are blank, so the wise decision is that whatever you feel that, whatever the case about, you have to put your knowledge and apply the things within that time frame and move forward. That's the trick. Bilal, you have a time of 5:30 p.m. Don't worry about that. I know that 5:30 to 8:30. Then the examining team will support you for the iftar and namaz time. Not to worry about that, inshallah. Don't worry about that. I don't know exactly about this, but they will cooperate. Don't worry. Allah bless all of you. Don't worry. Inshallah, you all people will get success. Don't worry. You people have put a lot of effort. We have given a lot of direction. We have also given a lot of support to all you people. I hope that whatever the services we have provided, you people are are satisfied accordingly. No, no, may Allah bless all of you to get success. Don't worry about that. Whatever the remaining time you have, just relax and do your best. Just relax. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am still, me and my team is still available till your exam time. Don't worry about that. May Allah bless you the success. In fact, Allah with you. Allah God with you. You will get success, inshallah. I will give you the document accordingly. You can ask any of the question anytime. We will give you the response. Thank you. Take care a lot. Bye bye. Assalamu alaikum.